You are tuned into a special player spotlight interview on the CS Podcast.
The CS Podcast presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. Visit NFLDraftBible.com, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and joining the show now for a special player spotlight interview, we go out to Greensboro, North Carolina, where we can find 2016 NFL Draft prospect, wide receiver out of Guilford College. He's Adam Smith. And Adam, I appreciate you taking some time to chat this afternoon. Now, you guys finished the season 9-1, and you guys really blew out a handful of teams. I mean, you guys opened up the season with a 77-13 victory, but unfortunately, that one loss came from Washington and Lee, 20-13, I believe, 20-17. Very close game, week 3. As I speak, I'm looking at the NCAA Division III football playoff bracket, and I don't see Guilford College listed. How do you feel about that? Do you feel that you guys got snubbed and should still be practicing and getting ready for a playoff game this weekend?
Thank you for the opportunity, Chris. But I think as a collective unit, the whole team feels like we got kind of gypped a little bit. Just because our one loss came to our undefeated conference champion. I think it's the first time anyone in our conference has ever ran the table and went 10-0. And we only lost to them by 3 points with our possibly All-American quarterback getting knocked out early in the second quarter. And just some of the calls, some of the referees' calls went kind of against the way we wanted them to go, and we had to NCAA about some of the calls. One of them was an onside kick and a few fumbles here and there, but we're pretty disappointed. We expected to get in, but with that being said, I mean, it was the best season that Guilford's ever had, so we're proud. I think everybody's just proud to be a part of it and proud to be able to be a part of something special.
As you were walking off the field last week in that 41-30 victory against Emory and Henry, it was senior day. It's your final college football game of really your college football career. What was going on, what was going through your mind as you come to realize that was your final collegiate football game?
Well, at the time, we believed that was just our last home game. So me personally, I was so happy that I was almost in tears because it just felt so good that it was really characteristic for us to go out in a game like that. We started kind of slow actually, and it just felt really characteristic for our offense and defense to kind of pick up where we had started a long time ago and to just come back and have a really big win on senior day. And during the game a lot, there was word going around the sideline that some of the teams that we needed to lose or win, that everything was going in our favor. So everybody just kind of had that feeling, and it felt really awesome that we could go out that way that we wanted to, and that we controlled our destiny as much as we could at that point, and we could let the chips fall where they may.
And obviously, as you said, I mean, walking off the field, you were probably thinking that your season's still going on, that you guys will get a playoff spot. But here we are. Your collegiate career is officially over. And this season, Adam, you were able to set career highs in just about every category. I see that you reeled in 89 receptions for over 1,200 yards and 18 touchdowns. Heading into this season, I mean, you're coming off of a very productive year, your junior season as well. I mean, you had over 1,000 yards, 15 touchdowns that season the previous year. What were your expectations coming into this senior season of yours, and did you have any idea that it would play out the way that it did?
I'd like to say that I did have an idea that it would be this way, but coming into the season, I told myself that I'm the best receiver in Division III football, and I want to go prove it because obviously you have the guys from like the Mount Unions and the Whitewaters, like the big-time schools, the big-time Division III schools that everybody's going to know about, but I wanted to make sure that everybody knew who Adam Smith was from Guilford College. So that was just my mission, was to go out there and statistically just put up numbers and produce so everybody knew who I was for my possible future in football and just for Guilford, to put Guilford on the map as well as myself.
Well, I think it's safe to say that you certainly succeeded in that. You certainly caught my attention. There's no doubt about that. And I'd be lying to you if I told you that I was familiar with Guilford College football before discovering exactly who Adam Smith was. So, again, I think you succeeded in that. Now, talk to us about the beginning. I mean, take us all the way back from when you were coming out of Davie County High School. I mean, why did you decide to attend Guilford College and play for the Quakers?
Right. So when I was a senior at Davie, I played quarterback and DB, and a lot of like my recruiting opportunities were coming to be like a walk-on at like Elon and Coastal Carolina to be a corner type guy, and some people even said receiver. So, but I loved playing quarterback. That's where my heart was at the time. And when Guilford came to my school and started to recruit me, they said that they would give me an opportunity to play quarterback. So at that point, Guilford kind of took precedence on my list. I was like, I think this is where I want to go. I just had a good feeling. So when camp came around, I obviously started out as a quarterback, and camp, our offensive coordinator came up to me. He said, right now, you're like third on the depth chart. So if you want to keep fighting and try to get that starting job, you can, but if you want to take some reps out at receiver, we'll put a special package in for you. So where you're going out at receiver, running back, and quarterback, and where we're just trying to get you the ball. Like throw some screen passes your way or some jet sweeps. I said, yeah, sure. I mean, I was a freshman, so I just wanted the ball in my hands. But so the first game week, we played Greensboro, and I was still a quarterback at that point. I wasn't considered a receiver yet, but I went in, I played a little bit of quarterback, had a few runs, and then I moved to I played a little bit of receiver, caught a few balls. And then that next week, my receiver coach came up to me. Well, he didn't even tell me that I was going to start. Just that Tuesday at practice, he put me in with the starting lineup. He said, Adam, you go first. So, I mean, I didn't know if that meant anything. I thought maybe he was just trying to mix some people around. And lo and behold, that weekend I had 13 catches, and ever since then, it's sort of been history. Just started every game since then, 39 straight games starting, and never been really thought of as a quarterback after that, always a receiver.
Yeah, and, certainly looking back at it now, I think it's safe to say that the switch certainly went in your favor. I think you had a pretty nice career there at Guilford at wide receiver, and really throughout your time at Guilford College, Adam, I mean, you really did put up some pretty impressive numbers. I mean, in 40 career games, I see that you had 247 receptions for just under 4,000 yards and 46 touchdowns. Again, that's all in 40 games. So you averaged more than a touchdown a game, just under 100 yards a game. I mean, very impressive. You're certainly a very productive player throughout your time at Guilford College. Back when you were a freshman, back when you were thinking you were going to be playing quarterback, and then, when you first made that switch to wide receiver, I mean, did you ever think that 3 or 4 years down the road that you'd be preparing yourself for a shot at a professional football career?
I would tell myself that I would, but in my mind, I didn't think it was very realistic, especially as a quarterback, because, I mean, I'm not like a 6'4", 225-pound guy. So I knew that my shot as a quarterback at the next level was very, very slim. So I think that opportunity became a lot more realistic once I moved to receiver and once I saw that, hey, I can have some success here. And especially after last season, I was named an All-American by a few publications and recognized by NFL Draft Diamonds. And I told myself, I was like, hey, I can do this. Just go dominate the competition and show that whoever you play against, you can produce against. So, I mean, that's kind of what I've tried to do this year, is just go out there and produce as much as I possibly can and show that whoever lines up across from me, they're not better.
And, something that you just said that I thought stuck out, and I think it needs to be said a lot more often, is that, these players aren't the ones that are making these schedules. All they can do is go out each and every week and like you said, dominate the competition, dominate the opponent week in and week out. So, again, here you are coming, your collegiate football career has come to an end. It actually just came to an end just this past weekend. How would you describe your overall football experience playing for the Guilford Quakers?
Oh, it's definitely been life-changing. Not only just the football program, but the school. It's opened my eyes to just so many more things. And being on the football team, it's of a brotherhood that I've never had before. Just basically living with these guys for 4 years, or I guess 3.5 right now, but living with some of these guys and building such strong relationship with these guys, it's been so fun, and I'll definitely never forget it. And I am sad to see it come to an end, but I'm glad that it's been such a success and that I've enjoyed it so much.
And it's come to an end, as you mentioned. You guys probably had, it certainly will go down as one of the more successful seasons of Guilford College football. Again, we do have 2016 NFL draft prospect wide receiver out of Division III's Guilford College. He's Adam Smith here on the CS podcast, presented by the NUC NFL Draft Bible. Again, bringing you the names that you need to know first. Since 2002, visit NFLDraftBible.com. And, Adam, how do you feel about the small school tag that comes with being from Guilford? I mean, there's some guys that really embrace it. They embrace the fact that they come from a small school. And then there's others that try to hide it for whatever reason. I mean, how do you look at it?
I mean, I'm fine with it. I mean, Guilford College is a very small school. It's underexposed, and I'm fine with that. I'd probably be one of the guys that would embrace it a bit, because all of my life it's been, well, you're too small, you don't weigh enough, you're not tall enough, or something like that. So there's always been some sort of doubt tagged with me. So I'm fine with it. I just think that I've always been told that if you're good enough, they'll find you. And I've been living by, because, I mean, like I said, I need to handle what I can handle and go out there and compete at the best of my ability. So I think if I get an opportunity at some tryout or a regional combine or some of the all-star games, that all I need to do is just go prove that the fact that I went to Guilford College didn't mean anything. I mean, well, it didn't mean anything towards my skill level or towards our skill level as a team, but that it just shows that we're a very good football program and we can produce players just as well as anybody else, just because we're a small Division III school that isn't very well known, but we still have some cats out there playing.
As I was doing some research for this interview, Adam, I stumbled upon databasefootball.com, and it says that the last time somebody from Guilford College played in the National Football League was all the way back in the 1950s. Why do you think that you should be the first Guilford Quaker in over 50 years to strap up for an NFL franchise?
Oh, I mean, that'd be fantastic. I need to play with anybody. I mean, just not the NFL or Canadian League or Arena. I'd play for anyone, but I think that I can do it and that I should be that person just because of my work ethic and just my knowledge of the game I think it's much further past a lot of wide receivers, just because of the idea that I've been a quarterback and I know how it works on that side. So now I can see both sides of the spectrum. And with that, I mean, I think my routes are very, very advanced for someone of a smaller school. My speed separates me from a lot of guys. I think that I do have what it takes, and all I need is one opportunity. I don't need every team in the NFL or Canada to believe in me. I just need one guy to say, "Hey, let's give him a shot," and I won't disappoint whoever that is or whoever that may not be. But that's all I need is one person to believe in what I can do.
Yeah, man, that's it. Just one team to give you that opportunity, and then at that point, it's all in your hands, and that's very well said. Now, looking at some of your film, Adam, I see that you do most of your work from the slot, and as you mentioned, you're not the biggest guy at I see 5'10", about 175 pounds. Most people would probably say that that's where you belong, is in the slot, but at times I do see that you were able to go on the outside as well. Do you have a preference as to where you want to line up at, or no, just give me the damn ball?
I don't have much of a preference. I want the ball in my hands wherever that is. I lined up like you said, I lined up in the slot a lot of the times. But when I moved outside, a lot of the teams kind of knew that a deep route was coming or something special was coming. So I really enjoyed playing outside a lot because it gave me a lot of one-on-one opportunities. And a lot of time when I'm on the inside, I play against some like maybe bigger, slower guys. So I kind of enjoyed being able to play outside too, because that gives me more of a challenge. It makes me show these people, hey, I'm not just a slot receiver that can outmove some linebackers or some safeties, but I can go out here and I can be better than this DB that's been doing it for years. So I don't have a preference, and I do definitely enjoy both. I think I'm pretty versatile in the fact that I can do both, and I can run routes and catch the ball from anywhere on the field.
Well, a moment ago, you touched on your route running. You touched on your speed. What would you say is your biggest strength as a wide receiver? And if there's one thing that you would like to improve on, what would you say that would be?
I would definitely say my strength is my speed. I've been clocked at 4.4 multiple times. I mean, many times the past 4 years when I've ran it, it's been 4.4s and no higher than a 4.5. So I'd definitely say my speed. Because it makes me a smaller guy, like you said, it makes me a deep threat for people. So they're not sure, they know I'm not going to just run like a 5 and out every play or a bubble, but I have the opportunity to run by you too. But my weakness would be blocking, because in our offense, from the slot position, we run a lot of bubbles because we have a lot of zone read type schemes and pass run options. So I'd say that blocking definitely is my weakness, but in the past 4 years, I've drastically improved. I mean, I've learned the technique, and I've been able to do it a little bit. So that is my weakness, but the more I learn, the better I get, and the more successful I am at it.
Hey, there you go. Well, as we touched on a little bit earlier, Adam, I mean, not everybody is going to be too familiar with Guilford College football. Not everybody is going to be familiar with Division III football, no matter if you bring up the Mount Unions, the Heidelberg Universities, the Wisconsin Whitewaters. What would you – I mean, for those who may not be too familiar with your game, I mean, if you would compare yourself to somebody who they may know, somebody who's currently playing in the NFL, who do you think that would be and why?
I'd probably say Deshaun Jackson, just because of the fact that we're virtually the same size right now, but he's not dubbed as maybe a slot guy or a possession receiver, but he kind of does it all. He's one of the guys that he may take a 5-yard route for 80, but he also may run past you and go for 75 on a post route or something. So I kind of like to compare myself to him, especially because of the size, because people aren't going to expect me to go up and be like a Calvin Johnson, obviously, or something. So I think comparing me to him is pretty accurate just in that alone, but also with the way he plays, the things that he's good at on the field. I think that pretty similar to what I'm good at.
Well, certainly one of the more fun players to watch in the NFL. Certainly a guy that has had a lot of success in the National Football League, so you certainly cannot go wrong with comparing yourself to a guy like Deshaun Jackson. Hopefully you don't have the nagging, hamstring injuries or whatever it is that he's been dealing with lately, because it seems as if he just cannot stay healthy as of late. Yeah. But, again, you can't go wrong with comparing yourself to a Deshaun Jackson. Again, a guy that is very fun to watch, and I actually really do like that comparison. More people would see, and I hate to get on the whole I hate to bring race into this matter, but most people would see a white small slot wide receiver, and of course the first thing they think is a Wes Welker or a Danny Amendola or a Julian Edelman. I like that you mentioned Deshaun Jackson, though, because virtually, I mean, they have the same body types. You know, they're about the same height, and if you think about it, I'm sure if you put a Julian Edelman or we even seen Danny Amendola back to his days in St. Louis. He was able to do some work not only in the slot but on the outside as well. So I very much like that comparison to Deshaun Jackson. It's another name that you could add. You could kind of add for these smaller type wide receivers such as yourself. Now, just a couple more questions for you, Adam, and then I'll let you go. And I really do appreciate your time. Now, let's say 5-10 years from now, what will be the one play that pops in your mind first? I mean, what would you say is the most memorable play that you've made throughout your college football career?
Oh, man. Well, that's a hard question. I mean, right when you asked that question, two plays popped into mind. The first one being my sophomore year. We were playing Emory and Henry in the last game of the season, and we kind of lost our playoff hopes. So I think the week before that, we lost our playoff hopes. So we were just playing for the seniors at this point, and we go into halftime down 28-0, I believe. It was 24-0 in the halftime, and I mean, we were just not moving the ball. We were not stopping them on defense, and our coaches just come in the locker room and just challenge us and say, let's go do this. We're better than them. So we come out on their first drive. They throw a deep touchdown, so we're down 31-0, and then we just start coming back out of nowhere. We just start scoring. We start forcing turnovers and stopping them on the offensive side of the ball. And with on our last drive, we're down 28-31, and our coaches take me. I run a few posts deep, and I'm open on a few of them, but our quarterback just doesn't have time. And our coach takes me out for some reason. I come over, and I wonder why they take me out. And he looks at me. He says, "We're going to give you a shot. Just go get it." So I said, "Okay." And I went out there. There was about 15 seconds left, and I run a post, and my quarterback throws it to me before I've even passed the safety. But then I look up when I pass the safety, and the ball is falling right into my arms. And so that's how we win the game with about 9 seconds left. I catch a deep post, and we score 35 unanswered points, and that was awesome. And the second one that I could think of was from this year. We were playing Averett in our third game. And I knew that 3 career receiving records were sort of on the line that game, that I could have broken them. And that'd be our career receiving yards, career touchdowns, and career 100-yard games. And I'd already tied the career record in touchdowns, and I knew that during the game. And our quarterback throws sort of like a stutter and go route to our backside receiver. And when he throws it, I start running across the field because it looks like it's going to be intercepted. So I run over there to tackle the guy if he picks it off. And as soon as it hits his hands, our receiver smacks his arms, and they start to go down, and the ball pops up in the air. So I actually jump over both of them and grab the ball one-handed before it hits the ground and walk into the end zone to actually break 3 records in one play. So that was definitely memorable. I'll absolutely never forget that play.
Absolutely. I love how detailed and how much you remember these moments. So definitely sounds great. Now, final question for you before I let you go, Adam, and that is, let's say, and this kind of compares to the, why you deserve a shot in the NFL question I asked a little bit ago, but let's say there is an NFL general manager listening to this very interview. Why should he want Adam Smith, wide receiver out of Division III's Guilford College, a part of his team?
I'm not going to let anyone down. It's just that simple. I'm not going to disappoint anyone. I go do my 111th every single play. Effort's never an issue. I'm never going to try to do my own thing on the field. I'm very, very – I'm always in the studying film, and I know how to watch film. I'm not just one of the guys that watches to kind of look like I'm watching a football game or something. I know what to look for in defenses, and I know I've always been taught to never run routes to get covered. So I always want to be open and just find the open areas just to get the ball, just to make the team more successful. And with that being said, all I want to do is win. A big stat game is fun and all, but if you lose, it doesn't really matter that much. I'd much rather have, a mediocre game and a win than a record game with a loss. So it's definitely not about me. And one thing that I really, really have always said is football wouldn't be like a job to me, or it's not about the money that comes with NFL football, because that's not why I want to play. I just want to play football because it's absolutely what I love to do. And I'd never get tired of doing it. I'd walk into the offices every day, the weight room or the field or wherever that may be, just happy to be there and grateful to be there because, I mean, who gets to play football for a job? I mean, so that's the greatest thing, and I'd be very excited to do that.
Hey, very well said, man. And as you know, it only takes one team to look over your tape and come away impressed with you and give you that opportunity. And like I mentioned, Adam, I mean, that's all I have. I really do appreciate your time, and I definitely want to wish you all the best next month when you head to Florida to play in the National Bowl. And I hope that you enjoy this long, sometimes grueling draft process. But as you know, there will be some ups. I'm sure there will be some downs as well throughout this process. But at the end of the day, it's all about getting that opportunity. And I certainly know that you'll be giving it your all, man.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you.